to the consent agenda. Oh,
Madam Chair,
I see, was it, Reg Kudla? Can you hear us? Hello?
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, we sure can.
This is Edward and Regina Kudla.
Hi, sorry, Kudla.
Yes, and we're here because we're concerned about the chipper not picking up the branches anymore. Because
Okay.
we're, I mean, in our community, there was always lots on the curbs of our neighbors. And we're especially concerned about people without the ability to transport things to the
Clark Road Center.
Clark Road Center. And what will happen if there's a storm or something with lots of branches coming down?
Okay,
And we weren't notified about it. It wasn't on the website. It isn't on the website, and it wasn't in the spring, the 2021 spring guide. I can't remember what it's called. I don't have it in front of me. It wasn't in there.
but, yeah,
It's been discontinued.
It's just not there, so that means that it's not going to be done anymore?
could you, and I heard the first person speak, but if you could give your name and your address, or if you live in the township,
Sure.
because the person who does the minutes, they're not on the Zoom call, so that would help us tremendously.
Okay, my name's Regina Kudla. My husband Edward is here, and we live at 120 Valley Drive in Ypsilanti.
Thank you so much. I apologize. I should have stated that in the beginning.
So that's our question, comment.
Okay, all right. What we normally do is receive public comments and then we respond more in depth later. We did, it should have been in the helpful handbook,
It wasn't.
right? It was a mistake that it wasn't in there. So we apologize for that. The service in 2020, we sent a flyer out, a postcard to everyone, and we should have done the same thing for 2021. So we apologize for that.
So what are you thinking that residents will do with this kind of debris in that from their?
Well, what we do is that we bid our contracts out in 2020, and the yard waste, every week you can put the branches out for pickup, from the waste hauler. And as opposed to doing it with the chipper truck. The increase when we bid it out was substantial, and we had to reduce services in order to pay for the contract and stay within the total millages for the township, because we didn't want to raise millage rates at this time. So it was a decision the board made. One person from your neighborhood actually contacted me via email and asked that we get 2 or 3 different small companies that provide chipping services, and then residents can contact them directly.
Sure.
Oh, and pay for it.
Yes, and we're looking at doing that.
So they could call as needed
Yes,
rather than someone going around every other week to all the neighborhoods.
correct.
Yeah.
So that's a possible solution, and our compost site director, he's looking to see, because right now there's actually companies doing that. And the COVID brought some new businesses, I think, out, and that was one of them. And they have been doing that. We just don't have their contact information. We need to make sure with our lawyer, it's okay to provide, 2 or 3 different small companies that provide this service at a not expensive price. So, but if not, if branches every week, you could put them out. You just have to bundle them differently than the brush pickup that we used to do.
Do we have to put them in a yard waste bag or a container?
No, ma'am. You can actually, and I can send you the helpful handbook. It has how to lay them out, the size of them,
We have it.
and it's unlimited. So
Okay.
if you prepare them properly, they will pick them up every week from your home.
Okay. All right. I'll pass that on to the neighborhood then.
And we do apologize, and we need to do better communication on this issue. So we recognize it, we apologize for it, and we're going to try to find some alternative solutions as well.
Right. Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Something else that when I called the meeting to order, I did not ask for those in attendance to give their name and to tell them if they're in Ypsilanti Township. So Brenda Stumbo, present in Ypsilanti Township. Gloria? Turn on your mute. There you go.
Sorry. Gloria Peterson, Ypsilanti Township, in my home.
Thank you. Mr. John Newman,
John Newman, Ypsilanti Township, at my home.
Stan Eldridge,
Stan Eldridge, Ypsilanti Township Civic Center.
Debbie Swanson,
Debbie Swanson, present virtually from Ypsilanti Township.
Heather Gerald Rowe,
Heather Jarrow, Ypsilanti Township.
Jimmy Wilson,
Jimmy Wilson, Ypsilanti Township.
Doug Winters.
My office,
Okay, all right.
where I live.
Are there any other hands raised for any questions? Not seeing any, then we're going to go to our agenda.
Oh, I just wanted to say that the curbside services is on page 3 of the handbook, if he has it with him.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Consent agenda minutes of the April 20th work session and regular meeting, and statements and checks for May. A motion is in order.
So moved, Eldridge.
Support Joe Rowe.
Motion Eldridge, support Gerald Rowe. Are there questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is the attorney's report. Mr. Winters?
Madam Chair, I was thinking today, kind of feeling kind of tired, and I was thinking that there's probably a good reason why all of us feel tired. And I was thinking back that it's been, of course, 7 months since this township board has been sworn in, and we've yet to be able to sit down on the dais and have a normal type meeting. And hopefully that day will be here pretty soon. But in some ways, I think that COVID-19 has brought many of us, maybe in a stranger way, closer together, because we have to do so much communication by phone and emails and Zoom and everything. And I think sometimes it's hard to really appreciate just what I think the townships, full-time officials, and all of you really are entrusted to oversee. The variety of issues at times appears to be very daunting, if not overwhelming. And I'm not saying that lightly, because I think you see from the different agenda items and letters the wide swath of issues that come across the township, and again, not having at times a very deep bench. I think what we've been able to achieve with board leadership has been very, very remarkable. And I'm referring to a couple, and sometimes, again, we've said this before, we don't always take time out to just acknowledge the completion of one project because we have 4 or 5 others that seem to be pressing at the same time. And we've mentioned in the past, like the Eastern Washtenaw County Skate Park, which I think is Ypsilanti Township Skate Park, which is being extremely heavily utilized. But this past week, we did receive somewhat of a closeout in regards to the Schooner Cove bus stop, which seemed to go back over 2019. And even though the funds were probably combined 2019 and 2020 CDBG funds around $207,000, that project was completed. And right now we're trying to, I think, pin down AATA as to what date certain will it be available for use and service, because again, the shelter has been installed, the contractor has completed the work. At the same time, we're also trying to make sure that Clerk Rowe has in her files a confirmation of all the contractors who performed work on those projects, so that we don't have any loose ends. And again, that takes an awful lot of time. And again, the full-time leadership has to work, they have to row in the same direction to really make everything fall into place, because again, we're not able to really see each other the way we would like to on a daily basis. And I mentioned the Schooner Cove bus stop as one infrastructure project that's completed. I talked to Mike Hoffmeister about the community center flooring project that's completed. He's in the process of getting those pictures, because I keep on emphasizing we need to have a before and after on projects that we do, just so we can have a historical reference. I know that Heather's going through a lot of files right now and coming across a lot of historical projects the township has completed. And aside from the staples that keeps cutting her fingers, I think she's enjoyed going through that process and just seeing the history of the township over the years. And again, it's quite illuminating as to how many different things we touch in 1 year. We also have the Connecting Communities project. And again, everybody's jumped in with both feet trying to get that easement, those easements. We now have a plan in place to get that third easement. I talked to Elliott Smith today. He's finalizing the bid documents so that they could actually go on next month's board agenda if it's so desired, so that would be a project in the late fall that would again provide the pedestrian pathway that would provide access along Hume River Drive down to Joe Hall Drive. Another very important project that's been in collaboration with the Washtenaw County Parks. The full-time officials have spent a great deal of time, and I mean that, a great deal of time between Brenda, Heather, and Stan on trying to get their arms around the US 12 MDOT project. That's the $8 million project. And there's been a lot of moving pieces to make sure the township gets the biggest return for the $8 million grant, while staying true with the board's directive that it not exceed the $8 million, because anything over the $8 million grant becomes the responsibility of the township board. And there's been an awful lot of work by the full-time officials in conjunction with administrative staff, engineering, etc. But again, I'm just giving more of a, I don't want to say a shout out, but I guess in some ways it might be to the day in and day out workings of the township government and the full-time officials. We've also continued to, this past week, I think, I'm not sure that of Karen's availability this week, Karen Wallen, but I do know that we did meet last week to go through the ethics policy that Trustee Swanson brought forward, and we wanted to make sure there was no overlap or contradiction or duplication from the existing 82 policies that govern mostly township employees, although there are 7 we identified that also appear to overlap and apply to township officials. And we're looking at that in terms of making sure that we're not duplicating it, making sure that we fine tune the draft that came over from Trustee Swanson, which came from Washtenaw County. And we're continuing to work to move that one forward. We also have another meeting, I believe this coming Monday, with the committee to continue to push forward on the industrial revitalization district. That's the area by I-94 in Rossonville that we've identified as being one of the more underutilized and maybe, my word, neglected part of the township, where a lot of opportunity there does exist, but we need to also look at what we can realistically put together from the standpoint of water, sewer. The roads are already, we have the infrastructure in place in many parts with the access to the expressway, the trains, etc. So we're looking at that also as being a district, and we've been pushing forward with the objective of also bringing back to the board in late fall, or late summer, early fall, the recreational marijuana ordinance. So there's a lot of moving parts going on all the time, not to mention the day-to-day lawsuits that we deal with from the standpoint of being in circuit court. Galt Village is one right now where the last 3 businesses have contacted us and advised that they are going to, they've relocated voluntarily. So that shopping center will now hopefully be in a position where if it's sold, it can be renovated. We don't know what exactly who's looking at the property, but it is listed by Colliers and International. And so we're hoping that the broker, who's got a very good reputation, can bring us someone that can actually take advantage of that opportunity. I think it's actually located in Opportunity Zone too. I think it's actually called Opportunity Zone. So in any event, I just wanted to at least, because you can't do it face to face, it gets a little bit awkward trying to do it by Zoom, but we do acknowledge a lot of our employees and staff, and rightfully so, that's the right thing to do when we see how hard they work. But I also just want to make sure that that anyone listening to this meeting recognize just really, I think the challenges and the workload and the hours and the demand that goes into being on the full-time officials there. And I think they've done an excellent job in this environment. And the only bad thing about this COVID on top of everything else is that the number of emails just never stops. I mean, it just constantly is a chain of emails, which sometimes you get lost because if you miss one, you kind of have to go back and try to figure out where you fit in. But anyways, I just want to take a moment to say that the agenda was a little bit lighter tonight. So I thought this was a good opportunity to share those viewpoints with all the board members and also update you on some of the projects that sometimes they start and they complete it, but yet we really don't take a moment to say, oh yeah, I remember that now. That was the Schooner Cove bus stop. And so, you know, again, a lot is happening in an environment that's not always conducive to the way we'd like to see things performed, but the performance that standards have remained very, very high. And I'm just very, very proud of the township board and how it works together for the betterment of all the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Winters. You're right. We are busy. We forget to celebrate our accomplishments because we're moving on to the next, and we have so many challenges for our residents in our community, and we don't want to disappoint them. And I think we try hard not to, but sometimes we fail. But we're going to keep trying, right? Under new business, we have a request to waive the financial policy and authorize the purchase of hydraulic components from a single source provider, which is RHM Fluid Power in the amount of $31,528, which is budgeted.
So moved, Joe Rowe.
Support Swanson.
Motion, Joe Rose, support Swanson. If you have any questions, Michael Sarin is on the Zoom call. He does have some shaky internet, I think. So hopefully if there's any questions on this for the hydro station, and I mean, Michael Sarin and his team really do a great job and on our hydro station, and we maintain it very, very well. And I can't wait to hopefully get more people in to take a tour of the facility. So any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is request to waive the financial policy and award the low quote for painting at the community center to the paint professionals in the amount of $24,210, which is budgeted.
So moved, Eldridge.
Support Joe Rowe.
Motion Eldridge, support Gerald Rowe to approve the request. Questions or comments? The facility hasn't been painted in a very long time, but they put the new floors down and they're very colorful. And I mean, it really will make a big difference in making that place look fresh and shine when all the people are able to go back in and utilize the facility. So I appreciate Mike Hoffmeister bringing this forward. Are there any questions on it? Seeing no hands and hearing nothing, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3 is a request to authorize circuit court litigation to abate public nuisances located at 8950-9070 Charlotte Court, 24 Edison, and 835 George Place, which is budgeted.
So moved, Peterson.
Motion Peterson,
Support, Eldridge.
support Eldridge. Are there questions or comments on this in the packet? The only reason we bring these forward is because we try to get compliance, but these are affecting the neighborhoods. And I bet 98% of them, if not 100%, came from residents in the neighborhood. So neighborhood stabilization is very important to this board and previous boards and to the residents. So that's why it's on the agenda. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is budget amendment number 6.
I unmuted. I am. All right, I have budget amendment number 6. I would, just for a little explanation on these, the first is for our election. We need a budget amendment. We didn't budget for one last year, so that's the majority of that there. We did add in $12,000 that you'll see to do an educational mailer to hopefully to our residents. And then the last part is a firefighter entering the DROP program. So I have a motion to amend the 2021 budget number 6. This is a move to increase the general fund by $83,555 and approve the to $9,594,444 and approve the department line item changes as outlined. And move to increase the fire fund budget by $14,003 to $3,837,075 and approve the department line item changes as outlined. I would so move the budget amendment.
Support Wilson.
I apologize. We have a motion by Gerald Rowe, support Wilson. Are there questions and comments on the budget amendment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Under other business, I just want to talk about the possibility of retaining a professional to do our grants for the recycle bins, because the increase for the recycle bins in our contract went from $24 to $48, and it doubled. So residents are rightfully so upset. That is a rental fee for it. If you recall, in 2020, we actually purchased the garbage bins for every resident, and but we did not do it for recycling. It was around $1 million to do that. So we have become aware of grants that are available, and under other business, if it would be all right to authorize us to retain a professional grant writer to submit grants on our behalf. And then we will bring everything back to the board at the next meeting once we know how much it's going to be. And like we have attorneys for professional services, we have engineers on, that we contract, but we do not have a contract for grant writers. There are two people, Beth and Bill Ernat, ERNAT. They have extensive experience in grant writing, and I would like authorization to proceed with retaining them and utilizing their service with the 3 full-time officials to try to get a grant for recycle bins for our residents. Yeah, Gloria?
Yes, Madam Chair, is this only where we need to do a grant? Will they be part-time? Will they be full-time or full-time staff there?
That's a great question. It's only on an as-needed basis.
As needed. Mhm.
And what we're finding out is Ypsilanti Township qualifies for a lot of grants, but we do not have a grant writer on staff. This
Okay.
grant became available today. I became aware of it, and it's due May 14th. So that's why I couldn't get it on the agenda in time, but I don't want to lose the grant or the opportunity for the grant. So yes, it's on an as-needed basis. We'll get an hourly rate, and then we can bring that back to formally place it on the agenda so they can be our grant writers for the township. I think it's really going to help us and help our community get grants directly instead of having to go through other sources to get it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Heather?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was just gonna share too, Madam Supervisor and I, we met with someone the other day that was talking about like a Department of Energy grant, and it was also due like at the last, within 10 days, and we're like, well, what are we gonna do with this? So they really do, just the opportunities of this week, it feels like it should be Friday already. But those opportunities do come up really quickly. And I know that myself and Trustee Swanson and also John Hine from Brenda Stumbo's office, we attended an opportunity index presentation and some new information that has been put out in collaboration with the county. And I think just being able to look at those numbers and the different inequities that we all know are in our community. We don't need other people telling us about our community, okay? Like we live it, we're here, we know what it is. But just using those tools to help us really secure some more grant funding, I think is a great idea. So thank you for bringing this up. I support it.
Thank you. Jimmy?
Yes, did you say that this would just be for this particular project?
Yes.
Okay.
But these people actually write grants for state, federal, and county. So they have a lot of experience. This one is just for this grant, and we'll bring back something at the next meeting to have them available as needed. So right now, like our engineers and our attorneys will help us with day-to-day stuff that comes up, have them on file with the township, and we use their services. And we have budget for them, but we don't have a grant writer and their services and a budget for that. So this, I mean, I know it's going to be under 1,000 to write it, but I really shouldn't even say that because I've never worked with a grant writer before. A lot of times within the grants, they charge a grant writing and grant administration, but because this grant is a state grant, they don't do it that way. And I just learned it at 4 o'clock today, but she explained to me that this particular grant doesn't have administration cost in it. So the township would actually pay to do that. And I do believe, Jimmy and board, there's so many opportunities now. There's a lot of money available, through the federal level and through the state level. So we need someone really actively looking on our behalf and helping us with this. So when we come back, we do have an economic development budget and a person budgeted in there. So we might be able to use, that funding, but it would take a budget amendment and formal board action to do that.
Yes. it's a great idea. It's something that we've probably needed for a long time.
Right.
I was just asking if we're going to be doing, using these particular individuals long-term or potentially long-term, we should probably put out some kind of a bid to see other grant writing professionals' backgrounds and kind of, for this particular project, I would trust your judgment on these grant writers being good at this. But if, just moving forward, we should probably give the opportunity to more than just them.
Yeah. And I would love to do that. As soon as we get time, we can put a proposal together to do that. This is a hard field that we depend on County Road Commission, Watts, Washoe Area Transportation, County Board of Commissioners, and even MDOT. And if it wasn't for State Representative Ronnie Peterson, we'd have never got that MDOT dollars, So I agree. We need to have someone on full time, and I don't know how many people are available. And I was shocked that I was able to make this phone call this quickly to get someone to file the grant on our behalf. But I agree with you, and to budget for one and have one on staff, like we have our engineers and we have our, attorneys. So we need one all the time. You're right, Jimmy. So that'll be the next step. Any other questions or comments? So we'll formally bring it back at the next meeting then for this grant, or would you like to just authorize the 3 full-time officials to proceed with this grant? With the pleasure of the board. I'm good.
Madam Chair, my pleasure is that we have a budget for someone to look at the grants. And it should be, if there's money that we kind of move around, or even next time we do the budget, it should be in place. Because there's so many things we could be missing out because we don't have them to write the budget. So therefore, if we come back to the next meeting, if we could move around or take it from another budget, well, I guess we'll have to do that, but that would be my pleasure. And then when we come again to the next budget next year, we should put in line for that kind of money for that project.
Thank you. Mr. Newman?
I think because of the timing of what you're looking to write the grant for, that's what, May 14th, right?
Correct.
So I think that for this grant, we should proceed, and then, the next one, move money around, because I think I would figure that money is there, figuring we have a healthy budget. So I wouldn't see a problem with that, but because of the timing of it, I would elect to proceed.
Okay, and we do have professional services dollars budgeted.
Yeah.
But to look at one long-term and to have one retained, I agree with Oya and Jimmy,
Right.
And Heather and everyone, really, just to have one of more available for us would be great.
Yeah. But for this one, we should go ahead.
Yeah, and bring it back a future agenda item and a future budget to retain professional services for this.
Yeah.
For future grants, because they're coming at us. We get emails like
Right.
almost every day now with people about dollars, and I don't want to have to rely on others to advocate for us. I would really, like our attorney, fights for us, our engineer fights for, us and represents us. We just need a grant writer to do this.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Chair, did you want a formal motion to be made, or?
That would be great, Jimmy.
What was the name of the individuals? Could you lay that out for us again?
Yeah, ERNAT, Beth and Bill Ernat. ERNAT is their name.
Yes, I move that we allow the 3 full-time officials to Is it a
Proceed
yeah,
filing of-
first,
Yeah.
say that again.
Proceed with the Filing of the grant,
Proceed with filing of the grant
yeah, for the recycle bins for Ypsi
for
Township.
for the recycle bins at Ypsi Township.
Support Peterson.
Support Peterson. So we have a motion and support. I apologize for the late notice and appreciate the grace that you guys are giving us to proceed with this. We have a motion and support. Are there other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board member updates, and I'm just going to go in the order that it's on my screen here. Are there any board member updates? How's that? Any?
No.
No?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, trustee Wilson.
Yes, at a recent Habitat for Humanity Board of Directors meeting, I had expressed concerns that Ypsi Township was having with some of the properties that Habitat has owns and some of their procedures moving forward. I know that our full-timers met with them. I'm not sure how that meeting went, but I did lay out to the board of directors, our concerns, and Rob Nisley, he had a great presentation for the board as far as kind of where Habitat has came all these years and kind of some roadblocks along the way, issues they've been having, and laid out a good plan on potential ways to continue the good service they've done for Ypsi Township and the entire county moving forward. And I was very pleased with what he laid out. And hopefully he was able to express that to our full-time officials and attorney and whoever else was in the meeting.
Thank you. Jimmy, any other comments? Debbie?
Yep, so I just want to echo what Clerk Gerald Rose said about the opportunity index that the county has released recently. So it's a good thing for everybody to look at it. I think it's going to be really important for us to know that index and how that tool can be used as we think about caring for our community. So that's one thing. The other thing that I want to say that kind of echoes what Attorney Winters was talking about is how grateful we probably all are for the work that the employees do when they prepare things for the agenda for us. So because of COVID, I don't know, because I'm new at being trustee, like just the pictures, the care and the detail that is put into the items that the employees bring to us, like seeing the picture of the actual part that's going to be worked on, like the old one and the new one, which of course, if residents are interested, they can get on the packet and they can see those pictures too. Just the level of detail, I really appreciate that. I know we all appreciate, because we can't always get out and go see things in person right now. So being able to see that and the amount of work that goes into bringing that forward for us, I really say thank you to the employees and the work that's done on our behalf so that we can do the work that we need to do on behalf of the community.
Thank you, Debbie. Any other comments? I have a couple things. We did bid out the Loon Feather Park renovation, and we did not get any bidders this time. So we're going to have to rebid that. That's sad, but I don't know if it's because, I don't know why, to be honest, but we're going to rebid that. The Hewitt Road, the safety grant that we received and participated in paying for, they did put up the pedestrian, the crossing, and it's much better than what was previously up there. It is much larger. One resident was disappointed in it, but you can tell it's in a safer location and it's a much safer crossing there. And the golf course was really doing well and exceeding expectation in play. Last year they did, and people continue to play golf, and the course is in good shape. So hopefully we continue to have a good year in the Green Oaks Golf Course. Parks and Grounds crew is hitting the mark on our parks and, like our buildings when you come into the township. They still, we cannot get enough seasonal workers. So if you know anyone that wants to work seasonally, we really need more workers, but what they're doing and what they have done with the staff that they have has been excellent. And we're very, very, very proud of that. And there has been rumblings. I have not met directly with County Commissioner Justin Hodge, I think his name is, and there's been discussion about a proposal for a tax increase for the county. And as soon as we get some language or some more information on that, you know, in the past, I was not in favor of adding more taxes, and especially right now, but it's really, people are struggling. It's tight. And we really worked hard as a township board to stay within the current township millage levy. And this is just not the time to increase taxes. And so if I get any information, and as we get it, and I will share it with the board, but I do know there's talk of that going on right now, but I have not seen any language. We met with the sheriff and residents. This summer, loud noise is an issue. And it always is an issue. For 30 years, it's been an issue, but gatherings, loud noise with the summer and stuff, we want to make sure that, you know, we're all working together. We did a hanger. Mike Radzik designed a hanger to distribute in the neighborhoods to let them know what our rules are. And then after that, they want to do, it has been suggested, a direct mailing, so that what I have found and what I have found hard to do is to communicate all the changes or any information. You know, I know we work together a lot, but to actually see residents due to the pandemic and the closing and stuff, and we have neighborhood watch meetings and they continue, and Robin does a great job with that. So we try to take all the information that we receive and do something about it. And in this case, we need the sheriff to help, and Heather and Debbie, and I think trustee, who else was on that call? Was John? I think he was on that as well. But we're trying to find a solution, and we're going to provide information first and hopefully gain compliance on these issues that are quality of life issues in our neighborhoods. So I just wanted, that's a few things I just wanted to update y'all on, and I have nothing else. So a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Trustee Peterson has her hand up.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, just briefly, since you was talking about the sheriff and some of the things that's going on, could you give me some insight in the board next time you talk to the sheriff? The concern is about these young kids breaking in these cars. I think it's getting out of control. They're walking around. I mean, people have shown me videos, 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 of them scoping out cars. I just want to know, is the sheriff aware of it? I'm pretty sure he's aware of it, but what's being done? Is there anything being done?
So this became an issue 2 or 3 years ago, and they're young people going around, and what they do, it's called the crime of opportunity. And if your door is unlocked, they're going to get in it, and they're going to take change. They're going to take anything they can get. So we do campaigns on locking your door, number one. It's very rare that they break a window in order to access the vehicles. That's what we've learned over the years.
So you're saying the residents, that you made them aware of the responsibility of shutting their doors?
Locking the
Kind of
automobile,
prevent, huh?
locking their automobiles.
Yes.
Yes, that is because kids are going, and they're usually young people going around and just checking the doors.
Mm-hmm.
If they're unlocked, and if they're unlocked, they're going to go in and they're going to get something. Now, I got a police officer, Stan is, but he said the same issues were, you know, also in the city. So number one, we need to really educate people on locking their door, because we all have done it. And when I did do it, I too had things taken out of my car. So that's number one, lock your door. And then number two, we did have a small group of young people stealing vehicles. A lot of times people leave their second set of keys in their car. So, and you don't even think about it. Or, and then they can, you know how you put your garage door opener in your car? If you, people do that and they don't like the car, so they get in the garage. So they did identify some young people who were stealing vehicles. And I know that they're working with the new prosecutor on some of those issues, because you're right, Gloria. It's
Thank you.
idle time, right? We got to keep
I
it,
will take that message back. Thank you.
yeah. And if there's anything specific,
Mhm.
we can always have the sheriff's department or our lieutenant follow up. But
Thank you.
we talked about that. Does any other, Debbie, is your hand up again?
Yeah, Heather's was up first though.
Oh, Madam Chair, I was just gonna share really quickly, Gloria, just because you brought that up. I'm gonna share my screen with you because our Lieutenant Pelletier shared this with us at the beginning of the year, because I think we all asked. So if you see this, this is like larceny from automobiles, I think, Stan, is that?
Correct, yes.
So if you see here, it's like 80% of them are all from unlocked, and like, we're assuming like that 19% unknown is the
Wow.
remember. So really, truly, like
I
a
see it.
large majority is from.
Yeah, their responsibility. Wow.
unlocked
Thank
cars.
you.
But it's about
It helped a lot.
education, just reminding, because I'm guilty. 3 times out of the week, you'd probably find my car unlocked. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that, I know that that's been part of the regular discussion at neighborhood watch meetings. So Robin has that as part of her presentation. And then you could see from the police reports, like that being shared, and then it being said at a couple meetings, and then you watch the reports that are shared, you could see that in some cases, after the sharing was shared with the community or with the neighborhood watches, you would see a decrease in some of those. I don't know what the overall picture would be, but that's been a regular message at the neighborhood watch meetings that Robin's been putting out. And then it goes with the report with the sheriff. And then the last thing I wanted to say is I forgot to say thank you to Attorney Winters and to Karen Wallen for the work they're doing on the ethics policy. I know that it was work to get it to the point where they could work on it, but there's still a lot of work when you're looking at all those policies and making sure that everything's consistent. So thank you for the work that's being done on our behalf to get it ready to come back.
All right, so we have do we have a motion support to adjourn?
We had a motion, no support.
Support Eldridge.
Support? Okay.
Motion Jimmy Wilson, support Eldridge, or,
Stan, yep.
yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:48. Thank you.
Have a good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Right.
All right.
Bye bye.
All right. Take care.
Take care.